When you start anything, to learn something new, to create a business, to become more in shape, the first step, the first day, the first minute, you're excited. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. The next day comes and you're like, man, this is a little tougher. And then you take another step and another step, and you end up admitting to yourself, this is pretty damn hard. The enthusiasm from the beginning of the process starts to fade out. You forgot why you started. All you could think about is that next grueling step, that next terrible workout, that next day at work that you just can't stand anymore. And you forget the purpose of why you started. And things become monotonous. They become hard. They become miserable. You become angry. You become frustrated. And guys, that is normal. Anytime you start something new, anytime you set out on a new path, anytime you move out of your comfort zone, you're going to go through a bell curve of frustration. You're going to be excited. You're going to be pumped. You're going to have the momentum to carry you through the first 2 or 3 or 4 days. Maybe it's a week. Maybe it's 3 weeks. But what happens when that energy fades? What happens when you start to get frustrated? What happens when you start to feel like a grind and things get grueling and they get gritty and they get tough and it gets harder to move through the process every single day? What happens then? Most people quit.
If you can't sit still, ignore notifications, and focus on one task for 8 hours straight, never expect to build anything great, because it's not about what you want, it's about what's required. And whether that's your best or not is irrelevant. It's just there's a price tag and you gotta be willing to pay for it, or you don't get the thing.
It's all about focus. I don't care who you are, where you're from, doesn't matter. It's having a focus and having a purpose. Right? You wake up every single day to get better today than you were yesterday. It doesn't matter what you are. You're a basketball player, a hockey player, golf player, painter, right? It doesn't matter.
Right.
Right, you try to reach your full potential by getting better every single day, and that's the quest.
And every day, the same answer came back to me. Do you want to be on your deathbed knowing that you could, but you didn't? So why do you care about what people are thinking when they're not trying to go where the fuck you're trying to go?
I had to stop giving a fuck about people. That was the biggest thing. I had to stop caring what people thought about me.
It was you. So you better figure out who the fuck you are.
So many people die with untapped potential because they think that someone else is fucking better than them. But until you know what you want to stand for, you will always just be sitting down. You'll never stand for anything.
Don't look at what somebody else is doing. Value what you're doing. Don't worry about what they bring to the table. Bring what you bring to the table. And some of you are not where you're supposed to be because you have limited thinking. I want to challenge you today. You're just as special as everybody else. You're just as powerful as everybody else. You're just as unique as everybody else. You're just as gifted as everybody else.
Don't tell yourself you need to do something and then don't do it. That's what I was talking about with Ariel. I knew in my head I was saying, get up at this time. I didn't get up at that time. Train at this time. I didn't train at that time. Don't eat this. I ate that. Don't drink that. I drank it. And these all just infiltrate my mental strength.
Just little kind of defeats.
Exactly, little defeats instead of wins. And it just culminates into, and you just don't want to be here. So I'm just figuring myself out like I've never figured myself out before.
Most people don't focus on their mindset. Most people are focused on exterior factors. They think that everything that happens to them is by chance. And they don't realize that a lot of the things that happen to them are things that they attract. Because you attract the things that you are, and you are what you do, and you do what you think about. The power of the mind is one very simple thing. The ability to direct your attention towards a specific given objective, and then to have the willpower to pursue it. You need to have a clear goal. If you don't have a goal, you don't know where you're going to go in life. You need to be able to be very specific about the life that you want, about who you want to become. Mindset, your ability to develop thoughts, is extremely important because your thoughts dictate and create your reality. Thoughts lead to actions, actions lead to behaviors, and behavior leads to lifestyle.
And I'm obsessed with being the best version of myself.
And that's a daily thing. I'm obsessed with finding myself now, not having to prove anything to anybody other than myself, and realizing that that is enough. Giving your best is enough. And sometimes we lose track of that when everybody's telling you who and what you are. So for anybody out there, you know, you're enough, man.
Whenever you wake up in the morning, today is going to be a great day. You have to nudge your brain. Right? We have a conscious mind. We have an unconscious mind. We have a self-image, and your subconscious is paying attention to the words that the conscious mind is saying. And so if you're like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, today's going to be a bad day, you're going to have a bad day because you just programmed your subconscious mind to do that. If you want to have a good day, it starts the night before. Is what went well today. So when I go to bed, I say a prayer, and then I go, what went well? And I go on a treasure hunt because I'm purposefully looking for what are the right things that happened. And I look for the micro moments, you know, like what's the smallest thing? And for me, where I live, I see a lot of hummingbirds and butterflies, and I just focus on them.
You're never going to be a good man or good at being a man without pain and suffering. You're going to have to go through a bunch of shit and have a terrible life to become a good man. I think you should embrace that and accept it. And I think that the correct mental model for men to have is a degree of stoicism and not to be too concerned with even how they feel. If I woke up today happy, I would have done this interview with you. If I woke up today sad, I would have done this interview with you. What's the difference? Why put so much importance on my emotion if certain things must be done?
Do not accept that. Do not allow the process to break you. You embed that long-term goal into your brain, and every single day of your life, from here on out, you do something about it. However small or insignificant each step may seem, you take it. You make it happen.
While everyone else is gossiping, while everyone else is comparing themselves to everybody else, I dare you to block out the world and focus on yourself.
It is time to get focused. It is time to decide, I'm going to work on myself and develop myself and see what I can become.
The way in which you make massive progress is learning the art of becoming single-minded, learning how to concentrate, learning how to focus in. And you'll be surprised at the things that you're able to do when you learn how to block things out, when you learn how to keep thine eyes single.
Clarity is power. If you know exactly what it is you really want, what you desire, what you're really after, the more clear you are and specifically what you want, the faster your brain can get you there. Your brain's like a servo mechanism in a missile. It locks on to the heat signature, and what does it do? It moves and follows it. That's the way your brain is if it knows the outcome, if it knows the result. I need to know the result and after before I ever ask myself what to do. Stay focused on the target. The target is not the activity. The activity can change. It's what's the result I'm after. If you just keep looking at those outcomes every day, how am I doing on that outcome? Your brain will come up with ways to get to that outcome. I promise you. Focus on outcomes, not on activities.
But many of you all over the place, and that's why you'll never be what you want to be. That's why you'll never have what you want to have. And I'm asking that the 24 hours in your life be very intentional, very deliberate, that you be very strategic. You're very deliberate about what time you wake up. You're very deliberate about what time you go to bed. You're very deliberate about what you eat. You're very deliberate about the people you bring in your life. You are very deliberate about the books that you read. You're very deliberate about what you watch on television. You are very, very focused, intentional, and deliberate. You go in the future and you see your future, baby. You look at it. You see where you want to be in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years. And then you come back to the present, to this particular day, to this particular spot. Get in the spot and you master today, and you don't worry about tomorrow, and you ain't tripping on your past. Why? Because your past don't count no more, and your future is so far ahead that you don't even need to be worried about that. You master the present. You master Monday, and then you take on Tuesday. And once you lick Tuesday, then you say Wednesday, come on. And then you take Thursday, and then you master Friday. And then you tell the weekend, bring it on. And when you get to the point where you start winning the day, then you start winning a week. And then you start winning a month. And then you start winning a year. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Go fast, go hard, and win the day. And if you can do that, you will have, you'll be, and you'll do whatever you want to do.
There's the people that win and there's the people that lose. And the people that win have something in common when it comes to this level of criticism. Every single bit of negativity, every single bit of doubt, every single negative comment, every single person that says, you can't do this, this could never happen, those go into a bank. And every time you're tired, every time you're frustrated, every time you want to quit, you remember what these people say. And winners understand that this is some of the most valuable fuel that you could ever have. The only way that you can lose on this journey is by giving up. There are no failures. There's only quitting. Every single failure, every single hardship, every single obstacle is going to serve you if you allow yourself to let it serve you. Because if you're executing day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, over the course of time, regardless of what anybody says, if you are executing day in and day out, no matter what, there is not a single thing that can stop you.